What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Off the Schneid. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Green Bay Packers, talking about their team needs heading into the 2021 NFL Draft post-free agency. As always, we're going to talk about weapons for Aaron Rodgers. That's consistently and kind of always been a topic of conversation when talking about the Packers. Obviously, they traded up to draft Jordan Love. I gave this team an F draft grade last year. I absolutely hated the things that they did, not because of all the players that they drafted, but because of they didn't really improve on a team that is a Super Bowl contender. And hopefully they do that this year. They've got a ton of draft capital, second most in the league. They got 10 draft picks, 29th overall. Tons of picks, all their own, which is good. A couple compensatory picks in there as well. So we'll see what they do. I do feel like they could move. The biggest question mark, we'll start on the offense. The biggest question mark on this offense for me is David Bakhtiari at left tackle. Tore his ACL. He should be, he'll be good to go at some point this season. He will be playing for this team and starting at left tackle. Jared Veldheer is not there. He's probably going to be retiring and he's not going to be there. But if he needs, if Bakhtiari needs a couple weeks to get going, or, he isn't quite ready, that sort of a thing, you're going to need some help there. So I think offensive line is a huge point of need on this offense, probably more so than the weapons and the wide receivers and stuff like that. We'll get to that. Why am I saying that? I'm not saying that these guys can't do it. Jenkins, Runyon, Patrick, Stepaniak, Jake Hansen. I'm not saying these guys can't do it. I'm just saying they're unproven. They're young. They haven't got an opportunity. And you just want to make sure that you have the best guy out there. So, use some of your lot of draft capital, use some of it, to try to shore up that offensive line and make sure that you have the best guy out there week in and week out, protecting, your moneymaker, protecting Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. So, and whether that's left tackle until Bakhtiari gets back, a plug-in guy that you can, swing tackle, there's lots of options. It opens up the door, right? It just opens up some more options for you guys. So that's what I have to say about the offensive line. I think tight ends are in a great spot. Bob Tonyan obviously was very good last year, kind of came out of nowhere. Mercedes Lewis, still a savvy old vet who can get the job done when called upon. Jay Sternberger, I really like, out of Texas A&M. He's there. Josiah DeGuara, who they use at fullback as well, kind of H-back type of guy. Nothing wrong with their tight end situation. Obviously, quarterback is set. Don't really need to touch on that. Running backs are still in a great spot. They lost Jamal Williams. I personally didn't exactly expect Aaron Jones to come back. I think he took a touch of a bit of a discount to come back to this team, but hey, you want to win, you might as well. AJ Dillon, I absolutely love. I think he's going to be fantastic this year. I don't really think I need to say much more about AJ Dillon. Huge, jacked, just massive man who can absolutely pound the ball, especially in cold weather. That 1-2 punch between those two guys too is just little thunder and lightning kind of. Jones catches the ball out of the backfield better than AJ Dillon. Not that he can't, but Jones is much better catching the ball to the backfield. Which is a pretty big weapon there as well. So if you're looking at this offense, talking about this, everybody's always talking about, are the Packers finally going to get a weapon for Aaron Rodgers, that kind of thing. I think they kind of backdoored their way into a few weapons. Not that they couldn't use another one. Absolutely, I think they could go after a wide receiver for sure, and they should. And I think they will with all the capital they have. They'll at least add one or two guys to come in and compete and maybe, be a difference maker. Allen Lazard, I think, he came back in the playoffs and looked very good. I think he can be definitely a starter there. Devontae Adams, one of the best, if not the best in the game. MVS proved that he's a capable, field stretcher, burner type of a guy. How many 70-yard touchdowns did he catch? He can get the job done. Devin Funchess comes back at an extreme discount. You still got Equanimeous St. Brown there. But I do think they add a wide receiver. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely think that they add a wide receiver, whether it's, first, second, third, fourth round, 2 guys in there, something like that. I definitely think that that's something they look at. They probably do add a running back as well. Again, given the extensive draft capital they have, they probably add a running back somewhere just to shore that up. But yeah, offensive line and wide receiver are probably the 2 biggest needs on offense for me. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, I like their defense a lot. I think all of the starters are in a fantastic position. It's pretty much been the same guys for the last 2 seasons for the most part. Kevin King comes back. Jair Alexander's still very good. Chandon Sullivan's there. Josh Jackson's very good. Perry Nickerson even. I think they're in a good spot. They could add some safety depth just to kind of work behind Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos. I think those guys are very good, but there's not a ton of depth behind those guys. Vernon Scott maybe, but either way, again, competition and depth, all that's going to just reign supreme with this whole team, because they don't have a ton of real needs and deficiencies besides maybe on the offensive line. But linebacker, these are guys that you got to see what they can do. Oren Burks, Ty Summers, Chris Barnes, even Kamal Martin. Like, you got to see what these guys got. So they might just stay there. Again, depth, competition, see who's the best, play the best guy. We'll see what happens. You can always add another corner. But this is a very good team. This is a very, very good team. And I think they kind of, like I said, backdoored their way into some playmakers on offense with Lazard, patience with MVS. Bob Tunyon comes out of nowhere, drafting A.J. Dillon. They're still going to run the ball very effectively, I think. So like in order of operations, in terms of needs, I think the biggest need right now is going to be offensive line, then wide receiver, and then depth pretty much everywhere. On the defensive line, especially Kenny Clark, Dean Lowry, and Tyler Lancaster, all very good, but you could add some depth there. The getting after the quarterback's actually in a very good spot. Zadarius Smith is fantastic. Rashawn Gary looked really good last year. Preston Smith took a step back, but he's quality depth right there. And then Jonathan Garvin, they drafted last year. One of the only guys I liked in their draft class, to be honest. But yeah, just depth, corner, safety, that kind of thing. Depth and competition is the word of the day for the Green Bay Packers coming into the draft. And they could make some moves because they got tons of capital. So we'll see if they see a guy that they really like. Obviously, they're not scared to move up or down the draft. They did, I think, twice in the first round last year, something like that. They're not scared to move up and down. So we'll see what they do. We'll see where they end up. I fully expect the Green Bay Packers to be a Super Bowl contending type of a team, right there with the Bucs, maybe in that NFC Championship game again. We'll see. So there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give it a like and a subscribe on your way out. Watch out for my mock draft coming out in a couple of weeks, and we'll see you on the next breakdown.